Welcome to ComSpark. Today we are live from Columbus, Ohio. My name is Jeremy Florea. I am on the Executive Host Committee for ComSpark, and I will be your guest host today. Today we are here with Vijay Gopal, who is the Senior Vice President, CIO, Shared Services at Magellan Health. Vijay, wonderful having you here.
Great to be here.
You're good. Well, I'll jump in. Technology is changing the way business is being done faster than ever. Can you tell me about Magellan's point of view on this subject?
Sure. When you look at the way we experience, what's enabled by technology, what we experience now is dramatically different than what it used to be 10 years ago. If you've hailed a cab from your phone, or talk to nobody in particular and have a cab show up, right? Or you've cut the cord and binge watch till the cars come home. These are all things that did not exist 10 years ago. Or you randomly decide you want something, you click and it shows up at your door, right? That's predominantly how a lot of people shop these days. And these are all things that did not exist 10 years ago, may have, but not as useful as they are now. And they are enabled by companies who did not exist 10 years ago. Or if they did, were not delivering these services and products, right? So that's pretty significant. It's changing the way we expect products and services be delivered to us. The second aspect is the companies that are doing this are all doing it primarily on the backs of technology. And that's evolving, that's becoming easier, that's becoming significantly faster for folks to innovate, figure out what's of value, and then deliver it and scale it, right? Which is all pretty fascinating, the way things are evolving. From Magellan Health standpoint, we have two arms of our business. One is healthcare, and one is pharmacy benefits management. And in healthcare, we have focused on the behavioral and mental health aspects of things. And to give you an analogy, for physical health, there's a lot of proactive preventative care that's been emphasized over the last 15, 20 years that has led to managing chronic illnesses like cardiac conditions and diabetes much better. Magellan has done that really well on the behavioral and mental health side, where if you detect and address some of those conditions like anxiety, depression, and so forth, if you do that proactively, then you reduce the risk of a much more severe episode, right? Which comes at a much higher cost, financial for sure, but much higher cost to the person that's impacted and to the families, right? So Magellan has done a really good job of using technology, using analytics, and using some clinical protocols to be a leader in how we provide services around behavioral health. And on the pharmacy side, we have also done a really good job of managing the delivery of specialty medications around cancer, around hepatitis C, which all require that they be procured, administered, and have the patient adhere to the protocol in order to have the value, in order to have the impact that is intended. So in doing both of these, Magellan has also grown to where we entered the Fortune 500 last year, and this year we jumped up 60 spots.
Wow.
The products and services that are enabling the growth did not exist 5 years ago, right? So we really value the entrepreneurial spirit and the outcomes that it's bringing to market and the growth that's being achieved as a result, right? So, and IT is a pretty big contributor, just like what it's enabled for some of the everyday household names, like which have become verbs, right? Google it, for example, or we are aspiring to disrupt the healthcare and how the healthcare is delivered, experienced by our consumers at key moments of truth.
Wow, thank you. We were talking about transformation in shrinking timeframes. What are some enablers that can help transform IT quicker?
Yeah, so first of all, it's important to recognize the IT transformation, which digital transformation. You hear about that quite a bit, right, from the analyst community, from pretty much most of the IT community. It's important that you recognize that IT transformation is not a one-time thing. Right? It has to be a mindset where you have to commit to learning how to doing things differently, and then relearn it. And that time frame is shrinking, right? What you would set something up and it would run for 10, 15 years. We don't have that luxury anymore. 10, 15 years is a lifetime anymore in technology. It's more than a lifetime. So you have to commit to reinventing yourself as an IT organization. So you have to look at IT transformation as an ongoing journey. And there are a couple of things that, unlike some of the digital native companies which didn't exist 5 years ago and have gone multi-billion dollars in valuation in record time, they have had the luxury of building their entire company, their business model ground up on cloud native, digital native capabilities that are available to them. A lot of the companies that are existing have to reinvent, have to refactor the way they do business and their technology, right? So you have to make sure you address the foundation. And a lot of the technology that's on the floor, unfortunately, is not where it needs to be to enable the digital and cloud native solutions. So you have to address your technical debt, make sure that your service management processes, where in case something bad happens, you're able to recognize and react to it quickly enough to restore service. Those are all foundational capabilities that you need to have in place. If you don't, you have to spend a little time making sure the entire organization is on the same page on how you address that. You also need to, I would also say the foundational capability you need is the application and portfolio management. You need to know which applications are critical to your business, which ones are differentiating, and the technology that enables all those applications. It's very critical to understand that. And you need to understand the effort and capital that you're deploying to projects every year, how that is being deployed and managed as you deliver those projects and the value associated with it. So you have to refine it to keep up with the shrinking timeframes or what have you, but it's a foundational capability that if it's not sound, anything else that you do from a transformation standpoint is going to be shaky at best. Okay. Right? You need to have a collaboration and a productivity platform for the entire company that actually helps you be productive, helps you get things done efficiently. All of that is a given, but it also needs to align with your workforce strategy, right? And Magellan, our strategy has been to embrace the work-life integration is what we call it. But we also have taken the approach of finding and hiring talent where they live, as opposed to requiring that you move to one of our locations, right? Half our associates across the company, not just in IT, work remotely. So chances are, no matter what meeting you go to, half the team is not there, right, physically. So you have to have the collaborative tools and platforms available that help you see each other and help you exchange information, help you collaborate on projects without giving up, the co-location assumption that, it's kind of hit and miss. Some companies commit to the remote workforce and collaborating, and some companies have actually gone the other way now. So It really varies, but based on whatever you decide as a company, you need to make sure you have a solid collaboration platform to go with it. Another foundational capability would be you need to, as a company, and definitely as IT, have an experience and business orientation. So what I mean by that is I run infrastructure and operations. It's very easy for me included to get sucked into the deployment of technology and the management and operation of the technology. You have to stay grounded to what are the business outcomes, business applications that it's enabling. You have to stay grounded to what experiences are we delivering, not just for the healthcare end customers or members, as we call them, or our business partners, but also to other folks within the company, right? And I'll give you an example. You tend to think of networking, communications, desktop support, and so forth as core infrastructure capabilities.
Sure.
We organized all of that as end user technologies, right? With the goal being, be mindful of when you ship a laptop to somebody. It's very critical that they be able to pop that open and be able to get very quickly to the applications that they need to get to in order to do their job, regardless of whether they are at a location, at home, or at another neutral site, if you will, where the onboarding was possible that day. So you have to, and in order to make that happen, desktop has to make sure the applications are all installed and are working. A networking strategy has to allow for people to be able to work from anywhere while providing a quality service, and so forth. So that's the experience orientation that you need to have. And I gave an infrastructure example. It's the same for applications. You have to be keenly aware of what your product, your features for your software are enabling from an experience standpoint. And the business orientation is important because you need to, that's a way you align with business strategy and be aware of which are your critical applications, and which are your differentiating applications, and which are things that, given our scarcity of resources, you can make a few trade-offs of when to address some of the non-critical applications, right? The business orientation, another, I want to tie it back to the foundation and technical debt point I made earlier. Technical debt and addressing, catching up years of, deferred upgrades is a daunting task, but it can be addressed effectively if you focus on, let me just take all the business critical applications and ensure they're all running on current hardware and software. Let me make sure they have the capacity to provide the service levels that are critical to those applications and infrastructure. So without the business orientation, the peanut butter approach, it's not very effective. You end up with an inflated budget which never gets approved, and so forth.
Sure.
And just a couple more components that are key to transformation. One is you have to embrace cloud native solutions, and be it a platform like Amazon or Azure, or SaaS-based solutions, which increasingly are replacing the corporate functions like HR, finance, Workday. A lot of companies have switched over to using Workday, for example. So the cloud-based solutions help you focus on the business value, focus on the experience, as opposed to how do I install a server, how do I get enough capacity to it, and managing everything that you need to do on-premise, right? So that's very critical. And the last one, I touched on it earlier, you need to have a learning culture. You need to constantly be willing to understand what's happening around you from a technology and from a technology adoption for sure, but from a business process standpoint, and be willing to put that into play. Be willing to give chances for your workforce to learn and grow and put to use what they learn, right? So that's very important, and that's I would say these are all aspects that are critical to your IT transformation. And the last one on the learning culture, we here in Central Ohio, we have a pretty robust forum. Angelo Mazzacco and Ron Fasora, Ben Blankera, there are a few folks who do an outstanding job of bringing together our practitioners in various forums. So an excellent opportunity to use each other as sounding boards, understand what's worked, what's not worked, and figure out how to deploy some of your learnings in your own organization.
Thank you so much for sharing that. The forum does provide wonderful experiences. And in closing today, Vijay, thank you very much both for joining, sharing your insights, your experiences. For more information, please visit comspark.tech.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.